Holy crap. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What a way to send this trip off, man. Hey guys, Tanner here. I really wanted to take some time and talk about this experience I had before I forgot about it. So in this episode, it's just me talking. We don't have a co-star guest here today, but we will in the next one. I really wanted to take some time and explain a little bit of backstory between my passion for the 911, both modern and old, and my experience in the 992 911 Turbo that I got to drive on a rally, or rather at the end of a rally. And the experience in both the old air-cooled and the new modern 992s. To give you a little backstory, I was putting together a video for this rally along the West Coast. Bunch of supercars and hypercars. We had a McLaren P1, Ferrari SF90, and some beautiful, beautiful Lamborghinis. But really what struck me is the 911s that were there. There was some cool ones. Of course, Mikey was there, so his RWB was super rowdy and awesome, and I loved it. Loved to see it. But I had the opportunity at the end of this rally. It was like 3 a.m., and I didn't know this beforehand. I woke up and we're ready to get going. I got to get back to work, and we just got a long drive ahead of us back to Utah. So I was like, you know what? It's going to be an early morning. We're going to drive Subaru Sense, and it's going to suck, but it's going to be got to get back. I remember being told, hey, some of these drivers need their cars driven to Portland because they're flying out and they want to transport their cars back. And I was like, all right, well, whatever, that's cool. And I just wanted to stay put. And they said, one of the cars is a 911, 992, one of the 911s. And I was like, yeah, do they need a driver? And so, I volunteered myself, mostly because I was like the only guy among 3 people who were awake, part of the crew of the actual rally. And I quickly was like, yeah, I'll drive the 992. Give me that. Yep, Portland, here we go. Yeah. And we were just a few hours out from the city, and they gave me the keys, and I was so stoked. I was like, it didn't feel like 3 a.m. anymore. I was so tired and like, groggy. And then immediately I was just like, I'm here, I'm fully awake, I'm present. I'm driving one of my dream cars, right? It was just like, it was more energy than an energy drink. Like, so I was so excited to get in this car, so excited to drive it. One of my goals in life is to own every generation of the 911. But speaking on the car, right, the soul of the car, I think that's the big question, is how does a modern 911 compare to an old air-cooled 911? I have a 911 and a 930 body kit. It's not a real 930, but it's got the soul of it. It's a 2.7 liter. It's a beautiful car, very fun to drive. The difference between the two cars, and if I had to boil it down, the Greeks had this thing, I think it was called a kriya. Somebody will correct me in the comments, but it's a one-liner, right? It's a saying that summarizes a bunch of things. I would summarize it essentially: a air-cooled 911 is fun going slow. A modern 911 is fun going fast. I attribute it to one of the characteristics I think I've identified in the 911, having driven both cars. Not a ton of experience, but some experience. In the 911, you get this boat feeling. When you accelerate, the rear end almost locks down, because that's where the engine is, that's where most of the weight is, and the front end starts to come up a bit. It's not terribly too much, and this is on the older cars, you can really feel it. But you get this feeling in the car that it's go time. It doesn't last terribly too long. And as long as you stay in the acceleration, you feel it, but it's just fun. it's like that chassis of the car lends itself to lock itself in, to naturally, just with the force it's experiencing, get there. And on the older 911s, you've got, there's no hydraulics between you and the steering, right? It's all mechanical. So you really feel the road, and as it gets lighter, it becomes easier to turn and steer. And it's just different. It's very engaged. It's very there in the older cars. In the modern one, you get a similar feeling, but it's at a higher speed. It's at a higher rate. I equate it to as if you put on a mech suit and things were enhanced. You can feel it. You're the one causing the action, but your actions are enhanced to a certain degree. And that's really what I would attribute to the more modern days. They've taken that formula and said more, faster, more performance. And that performance has, in a way, subdued the feeling of it, but it's enhanced it at the higher speeds. And so like on a track, you can definitely, I'm sure, feel this car come alive. You can for sure notice the characteristics and improvements. Would I prefer one than the other? I don't know. I don't think so. I think both cars have merit, have really good merit to not only exist, but improved on. And I think the more modern 911s have definitely improved. I mean, if you're going for a car that's performance-based, that's performing, that's killing it, no better than the modern 911, the GT3 RS that just came out. I mean, it's insanely good. But if you want a car that's got character, it has that too. The modern cars have that too. But I think the classic ones have it a bit more. I think they've got character to them. And maybe time will tell as we're heading into the electrification of all of our favorite cars. Maybe we'll look fondly back on this last generation of pure petrol cars, and say, that was, that's when we felt it. Now we can't feel it anymore. But I don't think that's going to be the case. I hope not. I think the 911 has kept its soul consistent. It knows who it is, and that's what I love about the car. It knows where it came from, and it knows who it is. It's got that identity locked down. Whereas other cars, I feel like they just new model year, make it look shinier and perform better, and I don't know. I think the 911 has the lineage there, and it's a big reason why I love the car. I don't think there's any other car out there that I could go and feel welcomed or warmed up to the community in a diverse community. You've got safaris and the car that came out. I mean, Porsche has a pulse on its audience for sure. Their audience can be outdoors, it can be street, it can be track focused, it can be comfort focused with the Taycan, and Porsche has some of the most diverse people I've ever met. I think in the car community, in a single brand too. I don't see that in BMW or Mercedes or McLaren or any of these British brands or any other really European brand do I see such a diverse group of people who are wonderful and pleasant to be around. And I think that has a lot to do with that soul and character that was developed in the 911 and is still there today. That's pretty much all I have to say on this, guys. I really appreciate you being here, enjoying my ramblings. I love the 911. Keep in mind, I have my own opinions. I could be wrong. Comment below if you disagree or agree with anything that I said. This is an opinion channel. This is an opinion thing. This is my personal experience. I'm not the oldest, wisest guy out there, so listen to me or not, it's fine. But I do want to, kind of for the younger generations who maybe are only going to enjoy the new cars, know that there's a reason why the old ones are still loved today. There's a reason, and they're only going up in value for a reason too. I love mine, and I'm so glad I have an air-cooled 911. I can't wait till the day when I get to park it right next to a new modern one and have both side by side. Have my buddy drive the new one, I'll drive the old one because I just prefer that. But I think it all depends on who you are and what you're looking for in a car, as with anything, which I think you can find in a 911. You can find a a 911 that fits you for sure. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Your viewership means the world to me. Go check out our friends at PMB Performance, as well as Pelican Parts. Big shout out to those guys. I'm not sponsored by PMB or anything. They're working on my car. I love them. Love them over there. I've done quite a few things with Eric and his team, so it doesn't hurt to give them a shout out if you're looking for somebody who actually knows what they're doing with air-cooled cars, especially in the Utah Valley. Wonderful people, wonderful team. So, as well as Pelican Parts, tremendous people. Great place to source your stuff from, and if you got a air-cooled project or a European car, they've got something for you. So, thank you so much. We'll catch you in the next episode. This time with somebody else.
I just wish my wife was there. Like that would icing on the cake right there. Yeah. One day, a few years.